Assalamu alaikum. In my last video, we discussed the financial responsibilities of a husband. In part 2, we discussed the financial responsibility of the wife. And I still have people asking me so many questions by email and, of course, by messages. Certain questions that are very specific. Now, being a very practical woman, I would like to talk to you about a few practical points. Let's go question by question, but today I'm going to only take 4 questions. The first question: should a couple have a shared bank account? There's no Islamic answer to this. You know, earlier they did not have bank accounts. So it is really upon your convenience. If the wife is a stay-at-home mom, then I would suggest that a shared bank account in which you pay your salary would probably make the most sense, as that is the common pot from which you will spend the money. If both of you work, then it's up to you. But in today's world, couples wait until they build the trust levels. Then, in that case, you can have 2 separate bank accounts and then 1 common account for your expenses. As couples have faced these issues before, this is a most practical way to handle this. In my personal experience, when the man marries and he does not want to add his wife to his account, really does not give the right picture on trust issues. Now let's talk about point number 2 or question number 2. Who pays for the wife's commuting cost to her job? This is an interesting question to which there is rather academic answer and a more practical answer. The academic answer is that as this is a part of the wife's business, that is, she is having a business of her own and she gets the remuneration, then she pays for it. However, the practical answer is, given you'll be paying for the petrol or the communication cost or for everything else in your life, it probably makes sense not to draw that distinction in such a way that the man should pay for it or a woman should pay for it, unless the wife is happy to pay. Here again, it would also depend on what accounts you're sharing and how much money you have. A man who has got more than enough, alhamdulillah, blessed to him, will never even question these issues. I know so many couples where the husband pays for everything and then the wife's income is used as a saving, or it is spent on major expenses of the family like investments, holidays, education, and so on. So keeping that in mind, it is your decision how you would like to spend your money. Let's move on to question number 3. What standard of living do my children or the wife deserve? Now, the wife and the children deserve a reasonable standard of living according to the financial position. The wife in particular deserves a standard of living at least equal to what that she was used to prior to her marriage. Unless the husband has indicated to the wife before marriage that times could be hard on them, I would recommend a practical answer, a fixed monthly amount to the wife for her personal experiences, as that would enable her to have some freedom in being able to spend without having to ask her husband every time. And then from this she saves, then she's a smart woman or a smart housewife, and there should be no issues. This is a practical way where you can have, of course, separate bank accounts, and particularly this answer would apply there. Question number 4. Who pays for the children or the childcare when the wife goes to work? Again, this is an interesting question. There are 2 ways to analyze this. The analysis can be done. Either we add this cost as cost associated with the wife working, or as a part of the husband's general responsibility to maintain his children. Arguments for the former, where if the wife was not working, then she would look after the children. As the hadith says, the shepherds should look after their flock. Looking after the children is primarily the wife's responsibility. Argument for the latter should be that the nikah contract is in relationship to companionship, etc., not childcare. The shepherd hadith specifies guarding the husband's property and children, and so long as that is achieved, the wife has fulfilled her bare responsibility. The wife has not contracted to be the childminder of the husband's children. So keeping this in mind, costs can be both ways, either by the wife or by the husband. Whatever decision it is, it has to be amicably decided upon by the husband and the wife. Now again, just talking about it parallelly, please keep the parents from both the sides out of this, as this may lead to complications, as I have practically seen parents intervening and saying that it's husband's responsibility or the wife's responsibility of who pays for the cost of childcare. So once again, keep your parents out of this. You are adults and these are your children. how much do I owe on joint investments? From a purely technical perspective, it makes a lot of sense for the ownership to link with the amount who contributes financially to that particular investment or property. But from a fairness point of view, or perspective, if you're a wife who doesn't earn and yet you are managing the household and looking after the kids, it makes sense that a reasonable portion of the investments and property would be yours. This is also helpful from an inheritance perspective later on, as it makes it easier to staying in the property after your husband passes away. Again, I have seen certain cases where the husbands add their mothers on this. Subhanallah, I really cannot say how men would do this, but if that's your wife and your children, you really do not need your mother or your brothers and sisters on your investments. And of course, the mahar of the wife is entirely hers to do with as she wills. I would like to conclude that the husband has the financial responsibility for his family in Islam. However, a wife, especially the one that works, should contribute to the expenses as much as she thinks is appropriate and fair. This is particularly in circumstances where the husband is not doing too well and is surely dependent or differentiated from family to family. As long as there are trust levels between the two of you, there will never be any issues, as it is assumed that you will both take care of each other. Hope you have all benefited from my video. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so you are notified of my next video. Have a blessed day.